I'm going to call this meeting to order. Like to welcome everybody here. Thank you for being here. It's nice to have people here. Like to welcome up Janae to come help us do our flag salute. She's going to do a great job. I've already talked to her. She's a professional. You're gonna come up here. Picture. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
Yeah. Hold this. I'm gonna do this. You might have to help me get up. But, we're gonna take a little picture. You're gonna do it?
Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent job. Thank you. Oh, I got up. Good job. All right. We'll welcome you again. Any addition or deletions to the agenda? No, we're good. Awesome. Any public comment? Nope, that's a good sign too. Okay, we're gonna, it's a new thing we're starting to do now with this school year. We're gonna be recognize our people that retire from the school district. We have Maria Hall that has worked here for 26 years. She's unable to be here tonight, but she is retiring and we have a plaque for her. And we have a couple things that Amy's gonna read.
Yes. So her principal was Miss Sheila Tiliano, who is the principal at Smith. And this is what she wrote about Marie Hall. After 30 years of serving our students, we are honored to celebrate the retirement of Marie Hall. During her time with us, she touched countless lives with her kindness, patience, and caring heart. Many students have personally named her as their trusted adult, which speaks volumes about the relationship she has built and the sense of safety and belonging she has created for so many. Her dedication went far beyond day-to-day tasks, as she strived to make every child feel important, valued, and loved. She also has been a wonderful teammate, always ready to lend a hand, encourage those around her. As Marie steps into this next chapter, we know her legacy and love and care will live on in the lives and hearts of our students and our staff. She leaves behind a lasting imprint of compassion, commitment, and joy. He wrote about her, and this is a direct message from Marie Hall. Now, mind you, Sheila's going to, when she gets feeling better, Sheila's gonna bring the plaque to her, and I'm gonna ask Sheila to take a picture with her. Okay, so this is a message from Marie Hall. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Grandview School District Board, leadership, and staff for this wonderful recognition. It has been both an honor and a joy to serve our students and community over the years. The friendships, teamwork, and shared dedication to helping students succeed have meant so much to me. Although I'm unable to be there in person, please know that I'm with you in spirit and I am truly touched by your thoughtfulness. Thank you for allowing me to be part of such a caring and inspiring district and family. With deep appreciation, Marie Hall.
Awesome. Thank you. When is she done?
She's already done.
Oh, she's already done.
He's out.
So she's barely started the year and done. Very nice. Well, I'm gonna give this back to you guys. But I'll put it in this thing. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the welcome up the high school ASB. They're gonna come up and give us their little spiel of what's going on at the high school.
Did you just have a birthday?
No, my birthday's in April.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw you had a birthday. I'm sorry.
I wish I had 2 birthdays. My name is Suriel Almazan, and I'm the activities coordinator.
And I'm Luis Reyna, and I'm the assistant treasurer.
So today we're going to be talking to you guys about homecoming week and just all the stuff we have coming up. So to begin with, we actually selected our royalty today. So we're going to be doing revotes for the king and queen, which we'll be announcing at the assembly next week on Friday.
Next we have the dance itself. So we're gonna have a DJ, a photo booth with a photographer. We plan to have food and drinks and also a blackjack table room. And then we are working on getting food trucks, so like Big Wheezy's and other stuff like La Jefa, and we're trying to see if they can come and sponsor it.
And some other stuff that we have is we're gonna be having Powder Puff, which is on Wednesday, Macho Man, which is on Monday. We also have our homecoming parade, which is the same day as Powder Puff. And those are like the main events that are happening that week, and I'm very excited for the dance, which is on Saturday.
So we want to get sashes for all of our royalty. I think that we're going to have someone's gonna make it first.
Yeah, we have Mr. Ochoa he's our senior advisor. He's gonna be making sashes for the royalty, and he's gonna buy crowns for them as well. And the ASB team is gonna take care of the underclassmen and the juniors. And that's about everything we have for you guys as of today, but next week we'll have
So
more for you.
homecoming is next week.
Homecoming is next week.
Okay,
So we'll be really busy next week, but
awesome.
yes, thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Yes.
What's that? Did you break your chair?
Dan's probably.
There you go. I probably did,
Yeah, that one.
maybe.
You want to take this one for now?
Just.
It stayed up, it hasn't given yet. It hasn't, went- it became short.
We could bring a block next time.
Okay, Mr. Shreve, we're gonna talk a little levy business.
Yes, Sabrina, can you send me the link?
Yep, I shared it with you right here. I invited you.
I looked, sorry. Send it again, it was, I don't. Go up. Okay. What's that? So it's the top of your email? Yeah, it wasn't there. Way at the top. One of the participants. If you can send me, yeah, I don't see the link. But I'll get started here. We want to make sure we honor everybody's time tonight. Yeah, that's it.
So that way we're gonna make poor Jesse wait till later in the meeting?
We'll do that. Yeah, dinner.
And you didn't bring anything, huh?
We'll get back.
Not joking.
I did a search, Sabrina, didn't see it, so I'll keep moving here. So, at least you have a paper copy in front of you. First thing, we need to start discussion about when we're going to run a levy again. And I'll get to the very end of this, we'll talk about dates. But I thought I'd start off right away by talking about what does the levy support? I'll spend just a few minutes on that part. I know that you all have heard of this. But real quick, levy LEA, levy funds help support safety and security. Student health supports, athletics and activities. Instructional supports, student learning and staffing, operations and maintenance. Transportation, additional support, transportation as in the terms of buses and motor pool. Maybe left already, actually, I was trying to use the terminology that makes sense. We say transportation, the people outside may not even think of buses, so I thought I'd change that to say buses. And motor pool, as well as child nutrition, additional support, that'd be the breakfast and lunch programs. Now, the following slides, it breaks each one of those down. So safety and security, you can see Lupe here in a picture with a couple of students having school security, officers, an officer and a coordinator within the district to help support those with the levy, as well as all the programs they support underneath them. And also emergency response trainings, building security enhancements, mental health and behavior supports, nurses. And then on the student learning and staffing. Do I have that now or? Oh, boy, sorry. Student learning and staffing, when it comes to curriculum adoptions, there's never enough dollars within the state. And I should have started off earlier, is that the state does support basic ed, but not enough. They under support all the programs we have within our district. And so some of these things you'll see the basic ed does support, but they don't totally support it. But I say basic ed from the state. And so we have to locally enhance those dollars to be totally supported. Instructional materials are on here, special education, excess costs. So when special ed is not have enough dollars, a couple of years ago, there were enough dollars within special ed. We had to support that and offset the cost of special ed. Advanced placement classes, those are the AP classes such as at the high school, instructional coaches. Additional activities such as drama, music, vocational ed is mostly supported, but every once in a while they need some additional dollars for traveling or those types of things. And that levy helps with that. And then also a smaller class size. We talked about it before. In the K3 classes, we've been averaging 15.92 on a class size. The state only funds down to 17. So we're funding those additional students, classes, and staff at a lower level, which is very important with our district because those are very important years. K3 are very, and TTK also, which is in that group, but they group just the K3. Instructional support on the next slide. Staff professional development. Yes, some of that is grants, but these are all additional supports that are not totally supported by either grants or with the state. Secretary clerical support for educators, substitute costs, volunteer program, additional teaching positions, PLC team leaders, department heads, and technology. I had to look at Jessica. So, maintenance and operations, we have custodians and supplies that need to be supported with local funds, grounds and maintenance supplies, building maintenance, facility repairs and improvements, equipment for the custodians as well as the maintenance department. The state does not fully fund utilities, so part of the utilities are also out of the levy. Again, the buses and motor pool vehicles, which I mentioned earlier, but they're on this list here. And then part of the mechanics. And the mechanics are the mechanics we have or the bus garage. There are 2 mechanics.
Brad, you should get an email from me right now. That's a Zoom link to.
Oh. Sabrina just sent one through.
Yeah, might not be easier to open. Has to go all the way to Norway and back, so it'll take a minute.
Well, I tried Sabrina's here. We'll see what happens. So keep going while it's loading here. Then, of course, athletics and activities. The state says we have basic ed, and we'll only fund from the bell to the bell in the morning, the bell in the afternoon. Well, anything that's outside of that, for the most part, is not funded. And in fact, they have come out to the state, said we shall not fund athletics. And so all of the athletic expenses we have are 100% funded out of levy, local dollars.
And band, marching band, all those other things.
Let's move it here. That's the athletic one. Oh, good. This is good timing. Get to the. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, that kid that you have pictured with Lupe, looks very much like him, Martin. That's suspicious. Is that a junior? Oh, Nico. I think it's the younger one.
He's bringing him to school.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Let's change. There we go. Okay, so those are the programs that are funded. And then we get into the numbers, which I love numbers. You couldn't imagine that with you, so, or even guess it. So on the levy side, the local levies in the last we passed a 4-year levy in 2022. And each levy, you can see it on here, was funded in 2023. We passed the voters approved $2,000 and 22 million in 23, 2,150,000 in 24, 2,300,000 in 25. And at 26 coming up is 2,450,000, and that was all approved by the voters. And yes, I'm sorry for having to show this slide here. I had to throw one in really quick because some people like numbers, and so I threw a whole slide in here. It shows the last 10 years. You can look on here, you can see what the certified levy was. Coming across, look at this show. Coming across the first line is what was the certified levy for each one of the years. Increase or decrease to the levy. I want to stop and stall out at 2019. 2019 is when the legislature passed. Actually passed it in the spring of 2018 that we cannot have a levy greater than $1.50 per thousand. And so that year, there's a reduction because we had to lower the amount that was actually approved by the voters because it could not be more than $1.50. And so the voters had approved 1,660,000, but we could only assess the 1,354,000 because of the limitation by the legislature that year. In 2020, then they lifted that and allowed us to have levies, but levies that could be no greater than $2.50, which we've never come close to that number, $2.50 per thousand assessed value. And you'll see in 2020, and down below, if you look up there, I think my cursor is moving up, there it is. Down below it says, what is the average evaluation increase to the assessed values? And shows on 2020, so it shows us 7.5%. And it says, what was the published levy rate? Well, because we had to publish them when we went out to the voters for the levy, we had to say they're going to be $1.50 for all 4 years because we didn't have authority to say anything more than that. However, the dollar amount that we put on the ballot was greater than that. And the dollar amount on the ballot was what you see up on the top, certified levy 1725, 1.8. I think they are over. And so the levy amount was actually greater. So we had actually passed the levy for those 4 years greater than $1.50. But since we had passed them that way, we already have them in the hopper. But in 2019, we had to reduce it. But in the next years that followed, we had an opportunity to increase what that dollar amount was to what the voters had already approved. So in 2020, 21, and 22, we assessed exactly what the voters had approved because it allowed us to go greater than the $1.50. And we published, I want to make a point here. Yes, we needed to publish this $1.50 because at the time that was the law when we passed the levy itself. However, when I put documents for the board, we had said, well, this amount of levy, I'm going to start here with 2020, 1,725,000 would be $1.88. We projected $1.88, projected $1.93, and $1.96. Given what those numbers were, with a very small assessed value increase of 1.5%. So it's a very conservative assessed value increases. But we did actually, with the board, knew that the rates would be a little higher. So even though you see the rates are higher than $1.50 in here, they are still below what we had talked about with the board. And then moving forward, the last time in 2022, we passed another levy, we published $1.64. And the actual levy assessed value came to $1.55, $1.35, 37, and 34. We're not too happy with 2024, 25, and 26 because it dropped below that $1.50. And I'll go and unpack that right now. So on this chart, it is showing the blue shows what the actual levy is that was assessed. And we'll call that kind of a brown, a bronzy brown, is the LEA that we received for each one of those years.
Please note that we did not approve Brad using SEMA colors. We should be using red only colors.
You know, I had different colors when somebody snuck in and got into my PowerPoint. I think about it.
At least we got the colors of the District of the East.
Which we shall talk about. So the interesting thing here is, as we talked earlier, we came to the board, said in 2024, because we dropped below the $1.50, LEA, we lost 521,000. And these are by calendar year, not our fiscal year. This is actual calendar year data. We did not receive 521,000 because our levy was too low, below the $1.50. 2025, 435,000. And then in 2026, moving forward, it's projected it'll be 492,000. I just received, we got a hold of the county assessor, And the property values have gone up by 8.63% in 2026. I'm sure you've all received your tax assessments, not your tax statements, but your assessments, and we found that out today. Now, that can change ever so slightly this time of year. He usually goes through and sends them out, and then people appeal them, so that can change ever so slightly. But more than likely, it's gonna be over this 8% number again. Any questions so far? Hearing none, I'll move on. So every time I come before the board, we talk about the levy parameters. What are we looking to do and what is required by the state? So back in 2019, the state says, okay, the levy cap, you cannot have a levy greater than $2.50 per thousand. They're going, that's great, we're never gonna hit that mark anyway. Other one says you can have $2,500 per student. We never hit that mark either, because the levy would need to be too large for that one. And there's an inflationary number of the 2,500. So districts are out there that's gonna raise the maximum per student. It's up to 3,838 that you can raise per student. Very large number. The assessed values would be way too high, but I just have to share that with you. And then the minimum levy rate to qualify for the maximum LEA is $1.50.
And so what you said earlier was, we are different than the state levy in that once we ask for a rate, no matter how much property values go up or down, we collect the same amount. So the property values go up, we don't collect more. The property values go down, they're going down, but if they skyrocket the last 3 years, our collection rate stays the same, and that's why we dip below the $1.50 and didn't qualify for that extra money.
Right, yes, exactly. And so, so it's a fixed dollar amount. So the board would approve, and the same thing put for the voters. Just to reiterate, is the 2,450,000 for 2026. That's what actually is assessed to the taxpayers, not the $1.64 that we said it would be. So, yes, very good point. And so, Grandview levy. In the past, what do we look at? There's three, we look at a lot of things, but here's the three main ones. I'm trying to shorten this thing to talk about it sweet. We talked about the programs, so we want the Grandview's levy shall support programs while ensuring levy rate is reasonable to taxpayers and maximizing the LEA. Support programs, keep the rate as low as possible, and receive the LEA, which is the matching dollars from the state, because we love state paying for programs, don't we? And so what that would mean is set the levy rate above $1.50 per $1,000 assessed value. Set the levy cap below the 250. Okay, we're not getting close to 250, but there's a bumper. And the last bumper is demonstrate strong fiscal stewardship of levy and LEA funds to build and maintain community trust and support for future levies. Do you agree with those statements so far? And you can add some too if you like. Given that, the proposed levy, putting some numbers out on the table, and I have some other things I need to share with you. This is this piece, but there's some more narrative to go with it. 2027 assessed 3,250,000, which would be $1.64, 3.5 million, $1.64, and 3.8 million, then 4.1 million, and that'd be $1.64 to put a little buffer in. I did put a little asterisk here. That is projecting that we would have 8% growth each one of those years. Usually I've been more conservative than that, but I've seen this growth continue, knowing that we have additional housing developments coming in. I used 8%. I think it's a little bit more aggressive than I have in the past. Usually I'm very conservative. So I'll go back and rework them a little bit. We may publish, I put this together and I can show you the documents. I use a document from SPI. They publish, we put together for the next 4 years and put in there what we think the assessed values are going to be. And it's crazy. OSPI thinks the assessed values are going to grow by double digits. Which is crazy.
Brad, I think you need to go higher.
Okay.
Personally.
Well, let me, it's a busy, I will hand this out. It's very busy, so I'll probably collect it back. That's okay. But you guys, I don't care if you keep it, actually, I'm just saying. But I really hadn't planned on I
You
made
know the
copies.
times I sit at home and read your literature.
Never, never.
Hey.
Chuck does.
Out of curiosity, so if I'm understanding correctly though, like, let's just say they drop for some reason drastically. That will impact us because we could potentially go over that 250 mark. How would that impact us?
We could, however, I don't see that ever happening.
Yeah.
We've never hit the 250, but it might go up to $2 per thousand. And as a board, do you feel comfortable if it hits $2 per thousand? Like, we only get this on dollar amount.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if, my opinion on that is, we're taking our best shot to stay as reasonable as we can.
Without
We
losing
can't
value.
project what we got for growth the last 4 years, but we can't project if it goes down. We gotta try to be somewhere in the middle, which I think this does, puts us in the middle.
I just don't want to be too conservative.
So this is very busy.
It's
I
funny.
didn't put up on the screen.
Like double.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But
If you see the,
Yeah.
see where the green is in the middle, the first set of green says
Mhm.
levy increase, the
Mhm.
levy increase percentage. So that's the first thing I want to point out. The levy would increase in 2027 by 800,000. Then the next by 250, the next year by 300, the next by 300. You follow me so far?
Mhm.
It says, okay, what is that levy increase percentage for us?
Mhm.
Okay, this doesn't mean the taxpayers increase percentages, this, then a percentage increase would be a 32%. Then a 7.69, 8.57, 7.89. I skipped over a couple other factors. You see, all the ones that are, let's call that, it's not really yellow, but I'm gonna call it yellow highlighting, are areas where I can go back and change what SPI predicts. And some of these have changed because this document I have before you is dated April 2025. On the far left-hand side, letter E1 and E2, you'll see it says April 25. That was a document they provided then. They have one that just came out in September, but I'd already started this one. So what I've done is I've tweaked some of the numbers above and in bold, and those, the CPI and IPD, I tweaked to be what they have given me in September. So they see, look, calculate the same coming down. The next piece is, where do we anticipate enrollment? They have our enrollment much higher. I'm down right after that, letter G1. And then where I put numbers in, which are in bold, projected enrollment would be 3,237. The next year, 3,184, 3,132, 3,100, and 3,125. We're hoping the enrollment comes back. This is a small factor to what the ceiling is, so it doesn't really impact this dollars per thousand. It will impact our LA a little bit because that's part of the factoring, but not much. So I'm just sharing all the factors, and I'll stop anytime. Do you think it's too much? Okay.
But we have to be seeing increase in. And tell me I'm all wet on this. If I have a piece of land that was farmland and it's 10 acres of farmland and the assessed value of it was $1 million. Now all of a sudden it is 100 houses that are assessed at 300,000 a piece, and there's 100 of them. Now we're $3 million. We're getting an increase in money based on that also.
No, because we're only asking
No.
for a cap of, we're only getting the amount we're asked for. We could add 1,000 more houses, but that doesn't increase the amount we're asking for. That's just amounts, that just means they're spreading the love to more
Over
people.
more.
It just
people.
lowers the percentage. Because we don't levy a percentage per thousand. We levy an amount of
An
money.
No, the more people we're paying less money, that's what it comes out to.
But yeah, the more houses they build, the higher our property
That
values
again
are
put
here.
us in danger with $1.50 though?
It's a, yeah,
But it's gonna
If it
drop
goes
the
too
other
high.
side, we're gonna get way below
why this-
$1.50.
That's why this $1.64 is pretty tight.
Yeah.
And if they jump by 16% again, down the road, that could be a problem. It could go below the $1.50.
but the one before, didn't we have a 5% growth budgeted into it, or was it 4%?
We had a 5.
Yeah.
And so, yes. This one in down over the next set of green, where it says SPI assessed value increases. That is what they're predicting the assessed values to increase by. The first column says 16.66%. 14.42, 14.4, 12.51, 11.01. And I have been in Zoom meetings with SPI, as well as our bondsman, and they say, you know, if you live in an area like in Grandview, don't follow those increases. That probably will not happen in our area.
I was
which
about
is
to
true.
ask you, is that a statewide prediction or is that regional, or how do they come up with that assessment?
They have come up with that. It's regional, but at the same time, they balance all the pieces in there and they put this document out. So,
Or it's more of a formula, not necessarily by community of like,
right, they don't know how many housing developments we have, if we have none or we have one. They don't know that. And so hopefully I answered that question. Then Grandview projected, so I put in 8.69, which I heard confirmed today. So that's 8.69 is the assessed value increased. And so the line above it that has bold says input alternative assessed value, right above the percentages. That is calculating 8.69% increase from what it was before. And then moving across, I did change all those and I put in, and I mentioned earlier, that 8% is being pretty aggressive. It's been aggressive all the years. Our average has been about 4.5. But if I narrow it down and only have the last 5 or 6 years, it's been double digits. You know, we had that 10.5, we had the 16.5, and then the 24.5, 3 years in a row. And then it dropped off to about 4.5, and now this next year it's back up to 8.69.
If-
I went really quick. I'm sorry about
Right,
that.
no, you're fine. If
But
we,
each year it was going up, and then
if we bump that to 10%, how much higher, what's that do to the increase the amount of money we gotta ask for?
let me,
Just roughly,
well, I'm gonna punch it in, and I'm gonna tell
okay.
you. Give me 1 second here.
Excel spreadsheet's gonna tell us.
Poof,
using all Brad's
it's
formulas.
magic.
We'll keep asking questions and continue to talk about it. And those are the ones I wanted to show you on here. And down below, while I'm looking for this, if you jump down to local effort assistance, which is letter Q through Y, and those are done by year. I want you to notice and pick up on the bold says estimate LA payable calendar year. That first number is 3,948,000.
Mhm.
And right above it, it shows that number, and the number above on letter V is what we would have qualified for at $1.50. So you can see what we left on the table by not assessing enough. Well, who would have known the property values are going to skyrocket?
You're supposed to
Yeah.
know that stuff, Brad.
It's a fine line what you can justify to the voters as far as the percent that you're
I
gonna,
mean, yeah, it's ludicrous to think that he was gonna project a
Yeah.
24% increase,
yeah.
or that we're gonna have to receive a 24% increase.
But it's gonna cost us over 3 years, almost $1.5 million. Because the property values went up so high in LEA money, which I think a lot of school districts are in that position. So my question to our state legislatures would be, what'd you do with the money you didn't send to the school districts?
And they're still bankrupt, aren't they?
Yeah.
Close to it. Kind of scary, isn't it? Where they would have come up with the money if they had to give it to you. There'd probably be a new rule that said, well,
Yeah, probably.
no, there was a new thing factor that we got in there. So really you gotta be at, 155.
Okay, so the question is, if the assessed values went up to by 10%,
If we put 10% in the budgeting, yeah. What do we end up having to ask for and what's that per thousand?
okay, so right on the screen now, I'll have to go back and modify it. So putting 10% drops it down to $1.61.
No, what I was asking is,
No, you want the,
how much money would we be levying if we budgeted 10% growth? So instead of in 27 asking for $3.25 million, what would we have to ask for that to work out? And
At
then
10%?
at 10%, if we did that over those years to give us the cushion.
it'd still be $1.64.
No, it'd be, what I'm asking is, what would it be per
What
thousand?
percentage would it be?
And how much more would we be getting than the $3.25 million if we budgeted 10% in there?
Okay, so put the 10% in, which increases the assessed value.
Right.
Go up here and put 3.5 million. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
more or less, yes.
I just picked.
Then you wanna know what that value would be.
What the,
Like,
If it
per
went
thousand,
up, the
yeah.
3.5, it may have went to 4.
It jumped to $1.74.
and would that would stay pretty close across there then?
So jump.
$1.74?
Now, if I put 10% all the way across.
Yeah,
Let's change a couple of numbers. That's why we bring in spreadsheets. And this is an SBI document, just.
right.
So, let's see, $1.50, okay, they're all gonna drop. If we want to stay steady, it more than likely.
That was 3,500, 3.5, then 3.8, then 4.1.
There's $1.80, so that's too high. Did you come up with the number already?
No, I was saying that's what you had on here. So you put your desired rate, right? 3.5.
Yes. There's $1.69, so 3.3750 would be $1.69.
So what would it be if you kept it at 3.5?
Oh, all the way across?
Well, I would know, what I was kind of curious is if we budgeted the 10% in, how much would that get us? And then what would it be per thousand?
Chuck's kind of working it backwards.
Right, but to keep it at the cap he was gonna ask for, right?
Right, but maybe we ask for a little higher cap if we budget 10% to make sure we don't lose LEA money on the other end.
If it does increase more than we think it's going to.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying. I know, you're asking, I'm trying to use.
Yeah, no, and I understand, but
No, I'll get-
But it's not, but judging off the first year, it would go from $1.64 to $1.74.
Yes,
Okay, so since this stayed the same for the 4 years that you have here, it's probably gonna stay pretty close to the same under that scenario.
A dime more.
A dime more. And
it'll continue to go up, and that's if we have growth at 10%. If the growth is, and Heather asked a question earlier, what if the growth is only, you didn't say a percentage, but I'm gonna use a percentage.
Sure.
What if the growth is only 3%? Then
Mhm.
how large is that rate if we were to approve the 3.5 million? And
so
that's
then
where-
it could kick it up closer to $2 a thousand.
Yes, just out of curiosity, let's plug in 3%. That moves it to $1.85.
It still doesn't get it to 2.
No. Those are all very good questions. That's why I brought this in a little bit to
Right.
have a little bit of discussion. We feel comfortable about
So-
the numbers. I put some numbers together and then we can. And the buffer might be enough. What was that first number? Back in here, the 3% growth. And I put in this old 1 through 2, the one that we have.
Yeah, the challenge that we have is Yakima County on the assessments is still under what the values are of property. Every piece of property that sells for more than what it's assessed at. So you just don't know how aggressive they're gonna be at raising.
Mm-mm.
So Brad, if our enrollment, if all these houses coming in. Does in the next 3 or 4 years, we start to see an uptick in enrollment because we have a bunch of kinders and first graders coming in or something. Does that offset the amount that we're gonna ask from taxpayers?
It does not.
Okay. Does it offset our collection of LEA?
Yes.
Would it be significant if we increase by like 100 in the next 4 years?
Well, let's take a look here. Let me pick one real quick. I put a 3% growth in and have to look at the screen here for a second. I'm gonna go up and change this. So 5.1 million. And that's at $2 per thousand with that large number at 4 million. Now I change the enrollment. And let's say that enrollment starts to increase 315. It was only 50 though, wasn't it? What if I change that to 3,200? Let's make a change here.
For 2029?
For 2029, I just
Okay.
picked a year, just.
Yeah.
Cost per thousand, but now you see that I don't have it, probably what's the number we said it was on LEA? It's 5.1, now it's 5.394. So if our enrollment continues to grow, that LEA will grow.
Okay.
It will take care of itself a little bit. It can grow to a certain degree because we get paid for each one of those students with LEA.
Bouncing 50 kids, Bray, isn't It happens a
I'm putting a
lot.
lot on the table. I hadn't planned on putting a lot on your table or plate, but
No,
But
that's
I
fine.
wanted to
It's
share
just
this
experience. This is a good discussion to have, yeah.
You're no longer talking to the rookie crew.
I know, I'm just. Sure.
So what's your gut tell you? Is 8% enough? Or would
I-
10% be better?
I'm thinking 8% is enough with the historical data that I have, it's gone up. Like when it was last year was 4.5%. And that was with some growth. We have the new truck stop that's going in out here. We're probably not even on the taxes yet. It's not even on it won't be on there until they open.
But 5 years ago, Brad, we didn't hardly have any housing developments in this town. I mean, there hadn't been a housing development since the one that was built across from the high school.
Right.
I mean, so it's really hard to look at the historical data in the last 10 years. In the last 5 years, which we already had the levy for 4,
Yeah.
so
So,
our housing has increased by a ton in 4 years. I mean, I know of 7 houses just down the road from me that have not hit any tax thing because they're not finished yet.
so when I talked to the county assessor, when it went by 24.5%, I asked the question, how much of that is because of new housing and how much is that just you reassessed everybody? 1.5% is all it was for new development. The rest of it, 23% was the assessed values that increased for everybody that was already here. So it's a small amount, like, when Walmart came on and they added 50 million. You know, and we need to look what our assessed values are in here. 50 million back when it was less than $1 million. So we had less than $1 million assessed value. 50 million came in. It changed a little bit, but not a lot. If we have these others that are coming in here, we're almost, let's just say 2 million to let me get the right number on
Yep,
here.
because there's almost $2 billion for 2026.
Yeah, so we get the 2 and you add another 100
Not that much.
100 million, it changes.
It's a
it.
small percentage.
So
The state's just so unpredictable.
In the county.
It's a county.
this was the county.
Same
But if,
thing.
if after what they've done to property values, if they come in with what OSPI think, I mean, there's gonna be a revolution in this county.
Huh. Well,
Hmm.
so those are the ones that green I inserted, they didn't have the green ones.
Yeah,
They had the other ones, but I inserted green because they think those are numbers I like to go, well, what were they thinking for growth?
yeah.
And assessed values, what were they thinking? We already know the enrollment, but what is that? And then also levy, that's our piece. So then we put our piece next to it to see how does it look, how does it pan out?
But the other thing we're seeing is kind of like what Cle Elum and them seen from all the people in Seattle. There's a lot of people that live in the valley that work in the Yakima or the Tri-City area because 30-minute drive, it just isn't that big of a deal anymore.
Yeah,
And in fact, if you lived anywhere around Tri-Cities, 30 minutes to get across from Kennewick to Richland is 30 minutes no matter what. So I think that, and all that's gonna do is push our values up.
And so I want to answer Chuck's question. I always try to be conservative.
mhm,
So let's say I agree with you, which are my 10's kind of high, but when I push to 8, I was already pushing myself kind of out of limit what I usually for projections. Just because we might have one that comes in at 10, another one comes in at 5. And this 8 is on that upper level. And I hope I'm right because I feel for all of us here in the valley, when all of a sudden assessed values jump by 10 or 20% again, we don't want that. And I heard you made all those adjustments for the most part, and the adjustments should be fine. So that's why I came up with 8. And if we know 10 is a good one, Chuck, to take a look at it. Because if it goes up by 10, what does that rate go to? But also when I put the 3% up here, so the rate goes down, the cost per thousand. And when we put in 3%, we saw that cost per thousand going up to about the last couple of years,
yeah,
hitting about $2, $2.06. So I was trying to hit something, it's, you can see there's a lot of moving parts.
yeah.
But I tried to analyze and, go through this and work with you. And the analysis I've done, so we're all on the same page. It says, we're thinking this growth rate, we're thinking this for enrollment. And the enrollment drives the LEA, so we'll know where our LEA is. And if we have more enrollment, that's wonderful. It
Right.
doesn't change the cost per thousand,
Right.
but it changes the LEA.
But if we set it up to where we don't have much growth and our rate hits $2, it's gonna make it really tough to pass the next one.
Exactly. So that's where, if I put, that's why if I put growth of 8 or I put 5% in here, then we're selling it, we're, all the rates, if you look at the historical data. Almost all the years, the assessed value per thousand has been lower than what we published.
Yeah.
Except that $1.50 where they made me put $1.50.
Mhm.
Just sharing, but that wasn't, if we would have published what we really thought it was gonna be, it was still within a penny or
Mhm.
lower. So that's what I'm trying to do, trying to be conservative but aggressive. Does that make sense? Aggressive on this levy to get us back to where we get all the LEA and don't leave anything on the table. The next, any other questions? I had the next 2 slides. You can go back and ask stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get back over here. Wait, you won't see that. You gotta see this slide with us. This is Dr. Darling, big time.
Yeah, it was a little heavy handed trying to put me on there. I'm there to Give my support with you.
We're going 2 slides. And I'm really sorry about this real busy one, but I thought we're gonna share a few numbers. Yeah,
No, I like it. I like it.
And then put this chart together to show, again, the levy and LEA, how the levy. And I can come back to this one, 2018. Our levy was 1.5 million and we received 5 million from the state. That's pretty close to 3, almost 4. At one time, way back when, you don't have it on here, but we used to get $4 per thousand a couple of years, way back when.
Mhm.
For every, excuse me, for every dollar we raised, we received $4 from the state. But their new models changed all of that, so.
Or like $2 to one.
And then here are the official, these are from the state. The state says these are the days you can actually have an election. And these are the only days you can have an election. It used to be we used to have like 8 different dates we can pick. We only have 4 to pick from. So the first one in 2026 is February 10th. We would need to have a resolution with the county by December 12th. Approximate date for ballots would be January 23rd, and then the election results will be certified on February 20th. So what do we have for a timeline? If we're going to run one in February, I don't want to make any assumptions. That'll be up to the board to decide when you want to run the next levy. You do have to know it takes about 45 days. If it does not pass, which, okay, that's not gonna happen. But you have 45, it takes about 45 days to put another one in the hopper to get it going, so it's really hard to meet that April 28th deadline. That needs to be said a little bit. We have in the past, but it was close and tight. So the timeline, levy discussion. Oh, today's the 14th, is it not? So today's the 14th, but you kind of met yesterday, I guess, somewhere. I don't know where. It's up on the PowerPoint.
Oh.
Oh, you did not. No, no. And so the next one would be October 28th. We're gonna have Corey Plaisir come in from Gay Davidson and kind of go through big numbers he sees and elections he's seen across the state. When's a good time to run a levy, what month, and then in November, we'll come before at that point in time. We'll try to have the board make a decision where you'd like to be, so they come back with a resolution either on November 10th or no later than November 24th with a complete resolution. It's a few pages long. We'll put it together and the board will approve the resolution. And then I'll make it up to Yakima. We'll file that in time to get it on the ballot. If you so decide to run it in February, I just put the timeline together.
And how long is it before the funds are released to us if it does pass?
Those are by year. And so the first one would be 2027. And so as you pay, all of us pay taxes. Now those taxes come in, usually we see a big payment coming in the month of April, another one in October. They trickle in the other months at the same time. But that's as collected. It's actually really as collected. So 2027 as collected.
My opinion on when to run it. I like February 10th. And one of the biggest reasons is we have basketball season going on and we have a gym full of people either Friday or Saturday night through January and up to February that we can get information out to about the levy. And how it works and what it pays for and what it doesn't pay for. And it's a really nice place to say, basic education doesn't pay for athletics when people are coming to a basketball game. And then, yeah, if it didn't pass, then yeah, getting it in April would be a quick turnaround, but we have 2 more dates after that to look at.
Back up. So what is a sweet spot for the board? As I start to go back and I'm using the input I received here tonight.
Mhm.
And we do not, what I'm hearing is we want to make sure we assess enough. That we don't leave anything on the table in case those assessments skyrocket. So, and so the way I ask the question is, what is a sweet spot when it comes to dollars? To me, it's all about, what it is per thousand, $1.64, because that's at the taxpayer, that's what it's gonna cost them. So. And you're not voting today, but just kind of give me a little feedback if you would like to see this number higher, lower, given the parameters. I gave you the parameters that I currently had used. Then I can go tweak those a little bit too, but
Right, so my take on this is you've got a lot of years doing this and you've been really good at it. And if that's where you think our sweet spot is, I can go along with that.
okay,
I agree.
because I think that's quite a jump. Because of we anticipate $1.34 for 2026. That's gonna go up by 30 cents that first year.
Yeah.
I did have some other projections, so trying to move it to maybe $1.70 through here. So I can come back, we have another time to discuss it. I come back and share what it would be for $1.70. Yes, I can bring a spreadsheet up, but I'm trying to honor your time today too. I can
I'd
do
like to
whatever.
see the $1.70.
Okay.
And I'd use 8% growth is what if you think you think the growth, because you live in the community too, is that growth hitting a sweet spot?
The part that scared me on the growth, looking at my property taxes is my land went up and my house went down, which was very odd to me because I'm afraid they'll make up for that. And that was a little different than what I thought I would see. I thought I would see my house go up,
And the land go down.
but my house went down and my land went up, which means nothing happened to my house. I think my house or my land. So anyway, that's just me.
What did we ask for last time?
$1.64.
$1.64, okay.
And then those property values. But it would seem like a good sweet spot.
But we didn't
Between that
change
and
much
$1.70.
for a long time. We were pretty steady there for a long time.
Yeah,
It's been in the last 4 years that we've seen these drastic moves and.
Well, I mean, let's be realistic. Our economy went through a full shudder when COVID happened, right? So it probably has to do with that. And like we say, the growth and everything happening as well. So
Sometimes counties on this side of the mountain are sheltered from the west side, but then they still react. Maybe a little bit after King County and Pierce County did their freak out and their property values go up. We have a little bit of a, reverberation from that afterwards too. So I think it might be so. Like it went 24.5, now we're back to 4.5 and then 8.69. So we've already seen it correct itself quite a bit. Brad's just gonna be a soothsayer.
there's just a lot of factors going into it.
You know-
I mean, I honestly, just with what you know and what we're able to bring into the table, if you have another number to look at, great. But I mean, I feel like we're trying to find that balance, right? Like you said, being aggressive to accommodate if we do see any increase, but yet not being too aggressive where we're gonna have our community have to pay a lot, or we lose the LEA. So would defer to what you're recommending if we had to.
And like you said, we're gonna have Corey here on the 28th,
Yeah.
and Corey can give us a more of a big picture scope of what's happening across all the counties. So that'll help give us some more feel.
and the other thing we can do that could potentially help the LEA thing is we have our legislative dinner in December. We can chew on our legislature's ears about let's fix the LEA process. This is what it cost us the last 3 years because the way the property values went up. Maybe they can figure out a better way to do that.
Yeah, when there is such a drastic spike,
Yeah.
how do we make this so districts aren't losing and the taxpayers aren't?
Very good point.
impacted.
They took care of those that can run larger levies.
It didn't help us at all.
And didn't
Yeah.
help anybody with LEA, did not, actually, okay, there's a small, I put it in here, Corey will talk about it. But they did boost it, the LEA only so slightly, like $150 per student. Just a small amount, we're here, they're making major headway,
As districts of the property rich. they really
Yeah.
help a little bit.
so. Okay, any other, I'll go back and run a couple, and it's kind of this balance between 8%, 10%, 3%. I'll look at them and come back in and.
So as a board, are we thinking we want to shoot for February?
We have the consultant coming in, right? That says that they can help advise on that as well,
They'll help us they advise on how to run a campaign, not necessarily the timelines.
not necessarily.
But they can
okay.
also show us which, and Corey will talk about this too, like which levy campaigns have the best success rates for different times of the year. Corey will share
Okay.
that too.
I like your idea of having the captive audiences, because that definitely is something to capitalize on. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of curious to see what the consultants will advise as well.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you,
Thank
Brad.
you.
Good job, Brad.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. Have a motion on the consent
I make a
agenda,
motion, we approve the consent agenda.
second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we are going to go into executive session.
Number one.
Number one, well, the other one's exempt, right?
Oh,
Or,
it's executive. Office.
oh. We just want, we can't do them both at the same, in the same,
Is the other one, people might come back afterwards, here's some other one.
okay.
And this one, we're gonna take action.
Okay. Executive session, move to new. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the 2025-26 Grandview Education Association collective bargaining agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll move down to, I'd like to call for a motion to recommend the approval of the 2025-26 salary increase for superintendent, assistant superintendent, principals, unrepresented central office, administrators, and district directors.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we would like to, I'd like to call for a motion to approve the Smith School Improvement Plan.
I'll make, oh, go
Any
ahead.
discussion on that or?
Actually, I do have a question on that. I was reading through some of the notes on here. A question I have is regarding the curriculum. It was talking about it not being culturally responsive or culturally diverse. In there, is that the new curriculum that we adopted a couple years ago, or is that something
I can
separate?
bring two.
I'm on page 23 on the document, 17 in Adobe. It says like the root causes, let's see, what is it is not tailored to diverse cultural and learning needs. When it talks about curriculum and instruction.
At page 23. I was talking,
Page 23 of the document, but page 17 if you were scrolling down.
17.
Yeah. There's a little chart that says disparity and root causes and.
I'm not sure where they're getting that from. So benchmark actually is very culturally responsive and has a lot of images of different able-bodied,
Yeah.
non-able-bodied, male, female, gender identity. So it's pretty diverse.
I remember us talking
Yeah.
about that in the teachers piloting it, so
Yeah.
it caught me by surprise when I looked
Yeah.
at that comment.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that was put in there. Look, there's a talk about really the dual language, and the thing with dual language, a lot of time you get companies who are doing direct translate and not really authentic text. So maybe that's where that might be coming from. The
Okay.
dual language, that is true, and we're still, the publishing companies are a little bit behind with dual language curriculum. But
I
we're
did
always,
see that we're bridging
yeah,
things with.
yeah,
the
exactly,
vocabulary. Okay.
yeah. So we're working with the Center for Teaching for Biliteracy. That really helps with that.
Okay.
And we're actually working with OSPI, Teresa Mendoza, who is actually connecting us with some different departments of education from different countries like Mexico and Spain to get authentic texts
Okay.
into the hands of kids. And we have other computer-based programs that allows kids to have access to different books, not just the ones that are direct translate, that are truly authentic texts from that country and language.
Language, okay.
So yeah, for the dual language, yeah, we're getting better, but
So
it's.
that's specific to the dual
Yes,
language, okay.
Yeah, cultural, yeah, that's better. So expressing dual
Yeah.
language supports.
I became a little concerned. I was like, we just adopted the curriculum, like.
Yeah, no, it's a really good curriculum. It's very rigorous. It's very spiral in nature. And so, no,
I do want to see when we test that towards the end of the year. A presentation, I would like to see a presentation come in to show us. This is what we said we wanted to do,
Mhm.
this is what we did. I don't remember seeing that as much, but I think we definitely need to see. How was it?
I agree, and not just Smith School. I would like to see it from.
Yes.
School.
And out of curiosity, this is a question, as we're completing this form, does everything require a response? Like every question they're asking?
not everything. It's
Okay.
based on their goals and they got to do their needs assessment. They identify 2 or 3 goals and then they have to follow the rubric or the state template that says, okay, how are we going to measure it?
Mhm.
It was responsible by when and all that. So
Okay.
yeah, these are their goals.
I don't have any other questions.
I have a motion,
I'll make a motion to approve Smith School Improvement Plan.
I'll second it.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Now we get to the big guy. Gonna come up and give us his presentation to get some stuff.
Yeah, so the memo you guys have in front of you is for a firewall. Last year, or not last year, 2024, we applied for
Thank you.
the cybersecurity pilot program. And so it's FCC, it's government money to enhance, improve your cybersecurity posture as a district. We applied for it, we received funds. All right, and so now we have a firewall that's going into support in May of 2026. Typically, we would use E-rate funds to purchase the firewall. What we're trying not to do is leverage E-rate funds for that money because it's a fixed amount of money. This E-rate cycle, they do every 5 years, they give you a bulk of money. We're looking at getting about $201.57 per student that's receiving free and reduced lunch. So anticipating somewhere in the ballpark of 650 to 700K for a category 2 budget. So the firewall would typically come out of that pocket of money. But seeing as how we were granted or awarded the funds for the cybersecurity pilot program, we want to use that money for the firewall, which will free up the funds for E-rate to do other things that are needed in district. Now, the cybersecurity pilot program, we paid 10 cents on the dollar of everything that's approved. If we end up using E-rate, it's going to be 15 cents on the dollar. So with our firewall going into support in May, that means it's no longer going to get any software updates, patches, any exploits, vulnerabilities, hackers that find ways to get in. They may or may not patch them anymore. So there is this increased risk there if we don't move forward and replace the firewall. So we're a little early, but we have the ability to use cybersecurity pilot funds, program funds to fund this project. So my ask today is that you guys make a motion to approve the award of the contract to Adnetics Inc. for the Advanced Next Generation Firewall project.
And that was the one, actually wasn't the least expensive one, but the least expensive one looked like it didn't give you everything you asked for.
To be honest, it was a copy and paste. The proposal page was written in the Yakima School District.
Yeah.
And so, how much did they actually look at our district?
Yeah, and a lot of things that were not included or incomplete is what it looked like.
Yep.
Well, and it's nice that we have the option to drop that out of considerations. Okay.
All within what you budgeted.
Bless you.
Okay, anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve that.
I'll second.
All in favor,
Aye.
opposed? There you go, sir.
Just because you smiled at him.
Yeah.
Great night.
Well, and thank you for your work on writing the grant
Yes,
too.
Yes.
Because you hung around
Thanks.
so long. Wait.
Thanks, Jesse.
Is that, thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Okay, now we get to the Dr. Darlene's
Yeah.
portion.
Usually I'm like third on the agenda. Might be forever. A couple of items that worthy of talking about, we have the upcoming legislative conference, if anybody's interested in going to that. I put the times because you show up and it's the afternoon of the 11th until like 8 o'clock at night, and the next day it's only until noon. So basically it's a full day, it's just broken up over 2 days. If anybody wants to attend the upcoming Navigating Public Education Funding Regional Session, I was wrong when I put it out there. It's $200 for the whole district. So we could send one person or 20 people, it's only gonna cost us $200.
That the one at Davis?
That's the one at Davis Auditorium, yep. And so just let me know if you wanna go.
What was the date of that again? I'm
That
sorry.
is on
The
the
30th.
30th.
What day of the week?
The
is that?
30th and 31st?
No, just the 30th. That one's just an evening one.
Oh, okay.
That's just 6 to 8 o'clock at night. And Brad and I and Heather went last year and I found it really informative.
It was very informative.
And so it'll be three of the same people coming and they're kind of give us probably an overview of what they did before and some updates of things that happen across the state, because landscape has changed quite a bit in the last year since we met. So, it'll be nice. And then just so you're aware, we received a $21,000 grant for the Superintendent Student Advisory Council. Last year it was 10 grand, so we more than doubled it this year, so that's great. They're excited too because they're trying to figure out a way. They're not officially an ASB recognized group, so they can't fundraise. So they're in the process of doing that through like the leadership, because they wanted to fundraise for activities and awareness campaigns and bracelets and such. So this helps offset some of that work. They don't have to do much extra work.
Nice.
So it's
I was
great.
about to ask what they were going to use it for, so that's
Yeah.
amazing that they're starting to plan.
Yeah, and that also pays for 6 of them getting the paid internship for our leads. And if you've seen them in action, you'll see that they work hard. They're putting a lot of hours every
Yeah.
week, and so it's a good experience for them. And this isn't on here, but today I had the chance to go. Myself and Amy came with us because it was a good photo op. I took 2 of our high school students from Prevention Club. And in August, the Safe Yakima Valley Coalition, which we're part of, and GPD, they went around and did alcohol compliance checks at some of our local establishments. They did it randomly with 4 of them. 3 of them passed. I won't name the one that didn't, but 3 of them passed. And so today we got a chance to go by with a certificate, letting them know, "Hey, congratulations, you passed this. That you didn't sell to a minor." When we walked in and I started introducing myself, and I said, "Back in August, Grandview Police Department came by, they're like, their faces sunk." They thought we're gonna come in and chew them out. It's like, "You guys passed." Like, "We did? Great." So almost all of them had the same identical response to us. Their faces turned red and then they were excited. And so then they turned red again because they found out they're gonna take the picture with us. And so we brought them all the one Grandview t-shirt. And so you'll see pictures of Amy's gonna be posting them online about us going and visiting these 3 organizations. So the students were excited because part of the work the Prevention Club doing is helping students say no and avoid these type of drugs and alcohol and vaping and such. And so to have the community members that are supporting us with not selling to minors, also it's a great way for us to recognize them. And then just a reminder, we have the upcoming EES survey for students, staff, and families. We have the GMS trunk or treat, and it's a big event. Last year, I think they had 35 cars. This year, they're anticipating having over 50. The Student Advisory Council is gonna have a group there, and then they do a carnival in the gym afterwards. 20th of a board meeting, as Brad said, Corey Plager from DA Davidson will be there to talk to us more about the levy information, and then it's our parent teacher conferences for the middle school and elementaries, 5th through 7th. So we're at that point already. That's crazy. That's my
What?
superintendent report.
Is that too early to put some kind of levy information out?
I don't think so. I don't know if we have it on our, because I know we've been meeting weekly to discuss this, and we have one shot to do it, the information out there.
Mhm.
Because once we get it out there, we can't do updates. So that first flyer we create needs to be perfect, basically.
Okay,
So you will have decided probably by the end of this month what our rates are gonna be, and that might be a really quick turnaround for us to get things printed and available.
mhm.
We may be able to do digital options, like scan this QR code, hit information about the levy. We might have that information available from the time you decide. It all kind of depends on when the board decides
Yeah.
on the amount and when we're gonna run the levy. So,
Anything else? Okay, we'll go to the board assessment. We just keep getting good assessments. I'm gonna have to do something wrong just so we can get a naughty mark on here. Anyway, we had a good one. Very nice. Thank you. From the board, one thing that Rob didn't bring up was the thing we had at the
Yeah.
Learning Center.
Yeah, duh.
We had the thing at the Learning Center and thank everybody that showed up. We had probably, I don't know, 15, 18 people show up. I know you can't count
It
the
felt like
kids
it.
as much, I think, because someone brought kids.
Yeah.
We had one table that was a group that was pretty much all Spanish speaking, and guess who got stuck with them? The person that doesn't understand. So it was great that, what's her name that's
Maria.
right next door? She would interpret for me, which is very nice of her. And but I did converse and it was great evening. They brought up some great points that, and I know Rob sent out the or the main topics of that, but they actually wanted more of Brad's
Yeah.
information.
Couldn't get enough Brad Tree.
Because you just cannot absorb it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But communication, but they were very interactive.
Mhm.
At least the group I was with. I don't know, you would have to tell us about your group because I don't know.
was with, Christian, this.
Oh, yeah, the student. Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't remember the other lady.
Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. And Rob.
I was very interactive.
Yeah. But they asked a lot of questions.
It'd be nice
They,
to have more students next time.
Mhm.
Christian had some really good questions.
yeah.
He made good
was
points,
good.
so.
one thing we did find that trying to have it, and I know it's a large place, but we had, trying to hear questions or comments or things, it would bleed over to the other group. So maybe we talked about it at the end of the evening a little bit, that maybe you try to do something here where maybe you have a group here, a group upstairs, or, try to do somewhere you're in a different room where it can maybe a little quieter. And that way you can maybe talk a little bit more, because it did kind of bleed over. And you could hear the other people talking.
And I think you also said maybe 30 minutes.
Yep, a little longer,
30 minutes.
a little longer. We found that Brad had put handed some information out, or even some slides, but they were not dual language. So we learned that we needed to just some things we jotted down that we learned.
Me too.
Some more information that way, because Brad trying to put a slide up there and her trying to interpret all of them. Of course, now you have two people talking, and we learned a lot about things like that. So, but yeah, no, it was really good. They brought up some, communication is huge. They talked about, getting text messages, because they don't do social media. I mean, I don't have Facebook. I don't have those things. So texts would work out good, or even handing something out to the student or to the parent.
A piece of paper?
Yep.
Yeah.
We did talk about that, maybe when you go and sign your student up, that on the form that you're filling out, that you can put down how you want to be contacted, so that they know, instead of just being blanket. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was,
Yeah, good suggestions for topics for next time.
yep.
Yeah.
So it was, it worked out good. We went a little longer because we kind of had conversations afterwards a little bit and went into a few more things, so, which was good.
Yeah.
So no, worked out nice.
our next listening session date is?
We were gonna do one in February, I thought, but we didn't have it on the docket yet. I think right now we're gonna get through the lunch dinner,
Okay.
and the December.
December.
16th, I think. Yeah. So
But yeah.
Sabrina's in the thick of stalking on local legislators.
One thing I have, the mural, is, pretty close to done. They found a couple, defects on a couple of the signs, I think they
Yeah,
told us.
HT with backwards.
Yeah, so they are remaking a couple of those things, so we should be able to get it, and then we're gonna figure out how to get it mounted. So anyway, you should see that fairly soon. That's about all I had. Anybody else have anything from the board?
I was at the high school last week for senior interviews. I had never done that.
Oh,
That was really fun. So
Did you make anybody cry?
the first one did. But her.
so
But she-
mean.
No, it was because we were being mean. It was just
Yeah, it's
emotional.
emotional, yeah.
And I told her, I hope my daughter talks about me the way you talk about your mom. She was so sweet, and they're, all of them were very professional, very just articulate, and just, yeah, it was really neat, it was really neat.
It's great.
Nice. Okay, so we'll move on to, Brad, you wanna, share anything on this, minimum basic education?
Thank you for coming,
requirement?
ladies.
Thank you. Have a good night.
This is the document we send in every year certifying basic ed to the state board. And if we do not certify it, then they come and shut us down. I don't know how they shut us down. Rob, do you know how they shut us down? But we were required to do it.
Probably
didn't
cut your
look-
funding.
We've never seen police out there, anybody policing it, but
No.
Yeah.
But we're on the docket for October 15th for the board to approve it. We send it in and they have them every 2 months, and so I saw that we're on the docket to have it approved. And it's certifying, again, the memo's in there about how many school days we have. Enough, seat time based on the RCWs and the WACs. The other part is, it's a lengthy piece that I have Derek come in and Jose work on it, because they started asking a whole bunch of questions about 4 years ago. They started asking the questions, do we have the right graduation credits? Do we have the right type of classes? We have pathways, and goes on and on, doesn't it?
Questions.
Yes. So ask-
We don't need to do anything on this, Brad. You're just letting us know and showing it to us to turn it
Yeah,
in.
so the board's aware of it, and then you and Rob said, okay.
Okay, good job.
yeah, we signed it.
Was that sent out to me today?
No, it was last week.
Okay, because I had something sent to me. It was like a DocuSign, but I didn't recognize it.